Hi guys. Welcome back to another episode. Sadly, we have neither PlayStation Legion or Lee Sally with us today. We didn't kill off PlayStation Legion, but instead I kidnapped him, and he's now part of my slave ring. Maybe if he behaves himself, we'll bring him on to another podcast or whatnot. But that's all an if. He's pretty upset about being a slave right now.
I'd
But anyway,
imagine so. Yeah. And I imagine you're very upset about being exposed as a terrible person, Papa G.
yeah, it was pretty depressing. But in some ways, I have to be honest. It's kind of nice to have the truth out there. It's good to be open and honest now. Now I don't have to lie and pretend to be a nice guy. Now I can just be a dick and with no remorse whatsoever. Anyway, um, uh, we have only a couple topics today, so let's see how much we can pad for time. Um, uh, First off, um, uh, I just want to say, DolphinVi, you did a great video and stuff, but there's a problem I have to bring up, and it's a problem that everyone has been missing, literally everyone, and I'm surprised no one's mentioned this, and that's you know Bayonetta, right? I mean, this let me start over. Ever heard of this little indie game? It's kind of not very well known, called Bayonetta. You may or may not have
Yeah.
heard it. It's kind of obscure, so I wouldn't blame you if you never heard of it.
Well, played
As
on the original PS3. I've heard of it.
I'm sorry, I heard the PlayStation 3 version was the worst. Anyway, point is, pretty fun game and stuff, but I have to say I'm pretty disgusted by the way Bayonetta treats men in the series. Every I should note I haven't finished the game, but I know for a fact that I'm pretty sure that the rest of the game does this because why wouldn't it? Every male character I've seen so far has been a bumbling idiot or just been inferior to Bayonetta, but no one on the internet I've seen has been complaining about it. That's when I realized that I think it is all part of Hideki Kamiya's grand plan. Hideki Kamiya, you see, actually hates men. If you remember, a long time ago, he started the Devil May Cry series, and
Yep.
he's really been wanting to do that, but Capcom hasn't been letting him do that. So he begrudgingly made Bayonetta. But through that, he started to realize that he started to come to the conclusion that men are inferior and that women are better. So there's a lot of subtle things in Bayonetta that are trying to say that men are good. I know this may sound conspiracy serious level and stuff, but trust me, I listen to people like Alex Jones and
Oh well, he's never wrong, is he?
yeah, I listen to Alex Jones and Stephen Molyneux on a daily basis, so I've had good teachers, and I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway, the thing is, so Bayonetta, Hideki Kamiya actually hates men, and he's using Bayonetta as a mind.
Feminist propaganda, basically.
Yeah, so it goes deeper than just basic feminist propaganda, and just like The Force Awakens or Ghostbusters or some bullshit. This is full tier, like indoctrination, because not a lot of people I've noticed have really said that Bayonetta. A lot of people said Bayonetta's a strong, independent character and stuff, and some people have even there have even been some feminists who've been who criticizing Bayonetta, but since feminists are so stupid, they don't realize that she's secretly propaganda,
Well, of course
and
it
that
is.
really,
I
and
mean,
really
near
is
the
part.
end, she shoots her own father. In other words, she kills the patriarchy.
Exactly, and he kills the father footage. He kills a man and
Yeah,
stuff.
what did
Yeah,
he do to deserve that?
exactly. I mean, I'm sure he was an asshole or whatnot. I don't know. I haven't finished the game, but we all know that men can do nothing
Yeah.
wrong.
All he
All
ever
of
did was try to put her in her proper place and use her as a sacrifice to change the world. What's so bad about that?
I mean, yeah, she had one female enemy, but really one female enemy and a bunch of shitty male protagonists. And I'm sure, and also, and this stuff continues into Bayonetta 2. I mean, I wouldn't know because I haven't played Bayonetta 2 yet, but Hideki Kamiya is the writer of it, despite not being the director, so there's bound to be some of it in there. And
And then there's
um,
also how the game was funded as well. Supposedly low budget, but they got tons of money for it. Where did he get all that?
yeah, I mean, they say, I mean, of course, everyone says Nintendo owns Bayonetta now, but that's just a front. Really, Sega still owns Bayonetta, but they've decided to put it on. They got special funding from the judicial educational worldwide society, aka the Jews. And
Hmm.
they've been
Who are
giving
total
us,
supporters of feminists, as we all know.
yeah, who are the real who and like this gets and like you might be thinking, Papa G, why are you so concerned? So it's just bullshit feminist propaganda. But it goes deeper than this. You see, Hideki Kamiya has been implanting these ideas into the hearts of many men and many gamers that men are infallible, and his plan will be completed by Bayonetta 3. In Bayonetta 3, well, I don't know what's going to happen in Bayonetta 3. I have no
I
idea.
can tell you what'll happen. They'll turn the frogs gay.
Exactly, but worse than that. Worse than that. They're going to it'll cause a sudden shift in every single man on Earth, even men who didn't play the game. It just Bayonetta simply coming into existence whenever it comes out will cause men to suddenly hate themselves, and every man on Earth will chop off their own penises, and will then say that feminism is cool. Anita Sarkeesian was right. Last Jedi did nothing wrong, which is honestly not that bad.
Yeah.
And
All
everyone will
the
turn,
feminists that are hiding in their secret base on Venus will come back to conquer the Earth.
yeah, and every male will become like a pro SJW on Jonathan McIntosh level. And like after that, like the Jews, who I just mentioned were the Judicial Educational Society worldwide, will soon create a trident or a scepter of some sort to control the common man, and they'll then own all the money in the world. Like I know this sounds like all crazy and stuff, but like
But
trust
that's
me,
why it's so brilliant, though. Such
you
a
understand.
devious plan.
And it's all part of Hideki Kamiya's plan, okay? You can't trust Hideki Kamiya. He's not just some cool director. He's not some cool director who blocks a bunch of people on Twitter. He is a maniacal madman. And earlier I said he did this because he just came up with this Devil May Cry. That I made that mistake. I was wrong. He's actually been planning this since before his career started. We need to stop Hideki Kamiya before it's too late. You gotta not buy Bayonetta 3. You gotta not emulate it if the Nintendo Switch emulator comes out. Then you gotta boycott it massively. Okay, you can't. Hideki Kamiya is anti-men. If you like Bayonetta, you're also anti-men. It doesn't matter if it's like what do you like it for. If you just like it a little bit,
Yeah.
myself included, I am anti-men as well and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm.
Well, you're not the only one. I'm actually a woman trapped in a man's body.
Well, I'm part Happy Meal toy, so that's the only reason why I'm half able to get through this in the first place.
Yeah. It's the only reason why I can get through it.
Get through what?
And don't worry, we'll be looking at other games in the future. Bayonetta is not just the only one that does this horrendous thing. Nier Automata as well. I mean, oh, that game.
Yeah, and like I've certainly and like Yakuza does it well as well. Every game I've started to realize ever since I started listening to Alex Jones and Stephen Molyneux religiously, I've started noticing it everywhere. I mean, my friends and family have been telling me it's an unhealthy obsession, and I've been like working.
It just shows how brainwashed they are.
Yeah, it just proves how brainwashed they are. I mean, you could look at people like Stephen Molyneux and Alex Jones and not say that they're reasonable, trustworthy sources of news.
Yeah. Even Final Fantasy's doing it now. I mean, Final Fantasy X, even I had to admit that was a feminist game, but I didn't understand the true depravity of it.
We've already become, me and you have already become the beta cucks, and have fallen to the disease, but it's not too late for you guys listening out there.
Hey, come on, I'm not a cock. Just a woman in a man's body, that's all. That's very different.
Anyway, point is though, like, you guys listening out there, you gotta only buy games where like men are awesome, and like every woman, you need to play more games like Ride to Hell Retribution. I know a lot of people are gonna say, but Papa G, that game has bad gameplay. That game sucks. Blah 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 blah. Wah wah wah. It doesn't matter. You see, that Ride to Hell Retribution teaches every woman as they should be, as a sex object, and all men are fucking awesome. So it doesn't matter if the gameplay is bad, and the story sucks and everything about it is shit. It will keep your mind fresh from becoming an SJW. So buy it 12 times on every single system. Buy it so much that they make a sequel for it, okay? That's what we have to do. Instead of don't play shitty womenly games like Bayonetta 3 or Nier Automata or Final Fantasy X or any other thing that people have say of good gameplay or stories or characters, which is bullshit, then play the real masterpiece, Ride Hell Retribution.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's me. Hopefully, I've red pilled at least a few of you.
Mm-hmm.
So, not then. Either way, I like the this feels like the Jews are already coming to my house later on to assassinate me and replace me with someone who sounds just like me. So this is gonna be my last podcast. Goodbye.
Oh, don't worry, I'll know the difference.
Okay, good. Anyway, I think that's all I had to say. Hope everything will be okay. Hashtag don't buy Bayonetta 3. Hashtag fuck Hideki Kamiya. Ride Hell is the true masterpiece. People are too stupid to realize it. Ryan Johnson did nothing wrong.
Which is why I should really be playing that game later on. It's a good segue to announce I'm actually making a totally new channel just to put Let's Plays on. No longer will they be on DolphinVi.
Maybe.
Yeah, I haven't decided on a name yet.
Yeah. You know, we don't. Yeah, he doesn't know what the name is yet, but he'll do a Let's Play channel. Hopefully,
Yeah.
it won't.
I'll make an announcement video when it's done.
Hopefully, it'll be manly man games like Ride Hell and not shit like Bayonetta.
Yeah. Does Batman count as a manly man game?
I guess, but to some degree. But it treats some women decently, so it's a little offensive to me.
Well, the first one doesn't. I mean, Batgirl gets put in a wheelchair.
Okay,
Yeah,
I guess
she stays in the kitchen where she belongs.
good to know. That's where all women should belong. And oh my god. Okay, I can't keep this up anymore. I'm getting so edgy. I blame Lee Sally for this. He's the one who encouraged me to start saying. He started saying edgy shit, which encouraged me to be edgy. So now this podcast.
Hey, come on, you're a shit lord. Embrace it.
I know.
Come on, we analyze more games like the way we just did Bayonetta. It's all the result of the feminists. And they're turning the frogs gay through gameplay. I mean, come on, we'll analyze more games like that in the future as actual videos.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come up with something. We'll try to be more. We'll try to think up better logic though, like not good logic, but at least make it seem like you can see how an insane man could come to certain conclusions. Oh, then again, I probably just did that, so never mind. Anyway, now that the act's over, I was half considering just continuing the entire podcast like that, but I just couldn't help it. I had to laugh. Sorry.
It got too edgy even for him.
Yeah.
So Papa G does have an edge meter. It was filled.
It got edgy the moment I mentioned the Jews. I really hope I'm glad none of my Jewish friends know I do this podcast, otherwise they'd probably kill me.
Hey, come on, they wouldn't kill you. It's not like you have a mustache. You don't have a mustache, do you?
I do have a mustache, actually.
No.
Oops. Well, the Illuminati's gonna come kill me soon anyway, so...
Hey, come on, you still have time to shave.
Fair enough. Anyway, so that was the point where I thought I went too edgy there, but that I kept going. Anyway, back on topic, if there ever was a topic.
Next, we're going to talk about cryptocurrency.
Right.
Yeah, now it's my turn to get unpopular. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. It's your turn to red pill me. I've red pilled you, so now it's your turn to red pill me. Sound good?
Cryptocurrency is the future, and we should not hate it like many people say we should.
So what is cryptocurrency? So first of all, for the uninitiated, i.e. me and probably a few other people at home, what is cryptocurrency? It's
currency that's totally on the computer. It's completely digital, and there's a finite supply of each one.
Okay.
And it initially started out with Bitcoin, but now there's Litecoin, Ethereum, and also the Dogecoin, which is pretty much coins with dogs on them.
And how is that any different from something like, say, like using a credit card or gift card?
Because those work on dollars. This one works on currency that's all online. It's not government-backed. It's completely online.
Okay, why are people saying this is a bad thing?
Well, mainly because graphics cards are being used to mine quite a few of these different currencies at the moment.
Okay. I can understand that then, but like...
And as graphics card manufacturers didn't expect that, prices are going up because the supply isn't going up, but the demand is going way up.
Gotcha. And is there anything else that's controversial about it?
Well, it's completely decentralized. No government is capable of controlling it.
Okay.
So the supply thing is finite for each currency. There's only about 21 million bitcoins in existence. And damn, I just fell off because I was paying attention. And there's always a finite supply of other big cryptocurrencies as well. So it can't be deflated, it can't be inflated.
So other than that, why do you think this is a good thing?
Well, I believe it's a whole new revolution for the financial industry.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now the financial industry is heavily centralized. Means there's a lot of manipulation of the money supply, inflation, deflation. There's a lot of ways for people to game the system to benefit themselves and not others. And you can have financial crises like 2008, for example, where one bank going down can nearly destroy the entire system and require a bailout.
Fair enough.
Cryptocurrency, though, it's completely decentralized. You can't do that.
The problem is, though, as you just said, it's it has no regulation or whatnot. And if it has no regulation, how do we know things aren't gonna get out of hand with it?
Well, come on, criminals are always going to find a way.
Fair
And
enough,
also, it's safer with a deregulated currency because it's also more secure.
Fair enough. Well, the thing is that while it's true, like criminals will find a way anyway. Like that doesn't mean we should just hand out things like illegal pirated copies of games.
Again, you could buy games legally with money. In fact, Steam used to accept Bitcoin. If you didn't know.
That I didn't know. But
yeah.
Why'd they stop?
They didn't. I don't think they listed the exact reason. It was probably government pressure because the government didn't like it. I mean, government says they see it, well, mainly it could be a tax fraud scheme, though really the reason is they just don't like not having control of a money supply. If they don't have control of a money supply, they can't just inflate or deflate it whenever they like.
And one more time, how do you think this is going to cause, like, a revolution or whatnot? Like a money revolution,
Well, it's already causing revolution in the banking system. Okay. It's an alternative. Well, if you don't know much about the banking system, here it is. It is incredibly slow. You do a money transfer, the bank, it might not be available for a few days. You cash a check. I mean, I don't know who writes those anymore. But if you do, the money's probably not be available for a day. And in fact, if let's do an international wise, for example, let's put it this way. Let's say you're the president of some bank in Spain. I'm some bank in America. You call me up saying, hey man, I need to borrow some money, like $3 million. The fastest way for me to get it to you would be for me to put it on a plane and actually fly it over there. So it would take forever for me to just wire it over. Now with cryptocurrency, on the other hand, you can just type in someone's address, type how much of what currency I want to send you, and it's there in a minute.
Okay.
Tops. So it's incredibly fast, unlike the current banking industry. And it's a lot more mobile as well. I mean, for most countries, if you leave, you can only take a certain amount of money with you, or you have to take a credit card. Or you have to declare that you're taking more than a certain amount of money with you. And sometimes it's not even allowed. With Bitcoin, though, or any cryptocurrency, you can access them from your phone, for the most part. Yeah, so you can take as much money with you wherever you like.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to definitely do more research on it, but you definitely do make some good points for it. Yeah. I'll have to look on the other side of the argument. Like you've made, I'll have to look on to see what the other side's saying so I can really get a good grasp on it. Definitely sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah. Let's say for the next part that's a good thing against it. It's very secure. As well with information. The technology it runs on is. I mean, I'm sure we've all heard of Equifax was hacked recently. With the blockchain, however, it's a lot more secure. And to give you an idea how secure, okay, let's say every server in the world, you were to take them all, hook them all up into a big supercomputer, and you attempted, okay, let's go hack the blockchain. You have the biggest supercomputer ever created. You just about put a dent in it. Okay. Because there's that many people using the blockchain.
Gotcha.
It's next to unhackable.
But will it prevent Hideki Kamiya's plans involving Bayonetta 3 and the New World Order coming true?
I thought we were done getting edgy.
I was, but I couldn't resist. Okay, I'll move on now.
Well, actually, if we were to use solely Bitcoin, we were to take the power of the dollar away from the feminists hiding on Venus, we could possibly prevent the New World Order.
Interesting. Okay, I'll stop being edgy. I'm sorry.
No, that was good.
Anyway,
Yes,
oh
we could
yeah,
prevent the aliens running the government from manipulating the money supply and use our own.
yes.
In fact,
Exactly.
anyone could create their own cryptocurrency and we could use it freely throughout the world.
Well, like, if you can create it, then like, what's the point in working for the
Well, no,
money?
you can create your own individual currency. It's up to anyone else whether or not they want to accept it.
I see.
Yeah, but there always has to be a finite amount or else it won't be accepted.
Gotcha.
Because if there's a finite amount, you can't expand it and you can't contract it. Which is what central banks do right now, which caused the 2008 financial crisis.
Sounds pretty interesting. Sounds both
Yeah.
promising and also interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's getting a bit of a bad rap now because graphics cards are being used to mine cryptocurrency. But honestly, that's more of a supply of graphics cards issue, more being bought than Nvidia or AMD ever thought would be needed. That'll be solved on its own eventually.
Okay, I hope it is. You've done a decent job convincing me. Right now, it sounds like a good thing, but again, I have to really look out on the opposite end of the spectrum to really get the full view of things. You know.
Yeah.
Because no offense that you are a little bit biased towards one side, obviously.
Well, once you know a bit more, you're going to be biased towards one side. That's inevitable.
Fair enough, yeah. Like Ryan Johnson doing nothing wrong. Anyway, what else did we want to... Oh yeah, I remember another thing we wanted to talk about. Should we move on to the next topic, or do you have anything else to say on the on this topic?
Besides that, the so-called explosion of graphics card and RAM prices, that's only temporary. It's going to be solved pretty soon.
Okay. Well, okay, I guess that's it. Should we move on to the next topic?
Yeah, it was all the other stuff you've done that I forgot to mention, I think.
Oh yeah, okay, okay. The next topic is something I guess a little less video game related, slightly anime related, but it's an anime based on a video game. So I think it still counts on some level.
Yeah, it's that bad. We're that desperate for topics.
And I've had a really busy week with a lot of stuff going on. I didn't have as much time to look up topics, okay? But anyway, but like, I'm sure you guys will love it anyway. Or maybe you'll hate it, in which case I promise we'll do better next week. Anyway, for some of you may or may not know, if you've been keeping up on the anime scene, you may have heard of the fact that the game that I've been jacking off for the past, I don't know, several sessions of this podcast, Persona 5, is getting an anime adaptation. And it's coming out, I think, April 8th. The first episode should come out, at least. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, "Oh, Papa G, that's so great! I'm so happy for you. You're excited." And the funny thing is, I'm not that excited for it. I'm actually going into it expecting it to be bad. And there are several reasons because of that. Number one reason is the video game adaptation, and they're almost never good. To be fair, like, I haven't seen that many, but of the few I've seen, none I would say are of quality. So, like, I don't know, but like, to be fair, I know you're thinking, oh, it's a TV show though, not a movie. Yeah, but like, it's still a video game adaptation.
Yeah, I mean, it's like trying to make a movie adaptation of Nier Automata. It wouldn't work.
Well, not so much it wouldn't work, it's that as a TV show, I could see it working, or like several movies or whatnot. But the thing is, if you were to do that, you need a lot more episodes. Like, they're going to have 24 episodes apparently, which is, as someone who played the game and has jerked off it constantly since it's released all the way back last year, I can tell you for a fact that that's not enough to cover everything in the game. I mean, it's enough to, I guess, cover the basic main plot points and some of the other side stuff, but like, some things are going to get cut. And the thing is that, like, some things in Persona 5 you can probably cut and you wouldn't lose much, but it's like the things that I'm telling right now, the things they're going to cut is going to be overbearing, and some of it is going to be like why they do this or why they do that, or they're going to simplify some things because they have to due to the fact that they have such a limited amount of time to get things in, and thus like that's why like I don't want to say it can't be done. Like, for example,
If you were to do it, it would be done right then.
no, if I were to done, I'd probably do an awful job because I don't know nothing about animation or directing and whatnot. But the point is, like, I don't think you'd be done with like 24 episodes. Like maybe something like 50 or 60 episodes and stuff would be good and stuff. But like just 24 to 25 episodes is just not enough and stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like things like, and I'm not saying I want it to be one-to-one the game, or I'm against adaptations and creative abilities. I'm not like that at all. A lot of my favorite adaptations have created a lot of good creative differences, or I've changed things to better fit the formats and whatnot. My problem is what I'm saying is my problem is kind of inherent in the fact that there's just not going to be not enough time, and that there's some things in that game that shouldn't be simplified that they're probably going to have to due to the fact that if they were to do it like in the game, it would take fucking forever. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I hope it doesn't sound like I'm being a fanboy or anything, or like I'm an idiot. I hope you understand.
Yeah, there's a difference between a fan and a fanboy. Being now a Nintendo fan, I'm clearly not a Nintendo fanboy.
Yeah, but I hope, like, you think I'm being too nitpicky on this, or do you think I have, like, a point somewhere?
No, I think you have a point. Video game movies are hardly ever good. Especially video series as well.
Yeah. And another reason why I'm kind of nervous about it is, it's being done by an anime studio known as A1 Pictures, who, in my opinion at least, some people might disagree with this, but in my opinion, they're kind of like the Ubisoft of anime. And by that I mean every once in a while they'll do something pretty good or whatnot, but like a lot of their stuff is kind of bland, generic, and are just kind of following the trends. That and like another problem a lot of their shows have is that they start out good, but by the middle or the end it's just kind of bad or boring or retarded. I'm thinking about naming one show, but if I do it, I know I'm probably gonna get crucified because it's
Name it. Our job is to get controversial on this show, remember?
The perfect example for that is the anime Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I thought that name sounded familiar. A1 Pictures.
Which had a good first episode, but pretty much everything beyond that I thought was kind of shit or stupid. Like, I'm not a big MMO player.
Well, that game was a bad example of an MMO.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, can't even go into it right now because I could probably make hours and hours on why it doesn't work and function and why it's bad. But I'm not a fan of it, and I think it's kind of shit. Maybe if you guys request it, maybe I can do that as a podcast. But I highly doubt you guys want to hear that.
Well, no, come on, let's do a game podcast about why Sword Art Online sucks. I mean, it's a game as well as an anime. I guess it would technically count.
If it technically counts, that's
yeah, I mean, that's why we're discussing feminism as well, because they hate games, so it technically counts. I mean, maybe that should be our entire slogan of this podcast. We're Dark Souls of podcasts. We discuss things sort of related to games if they technically count.
That and complications arose. I think that's a good subtitle for our podcast, Complications Arose.
The Dark Souls of podcast. We have no idea what we're doing.
I guess one example. I guess I'll talk about why I don't like it, and then you can tell me if you agree or not, if you even saw it. Excuse me, sorry. So, first thing I'll start with is the setting. My problem with Sword Art Online is the setting. Like, no matter what it is, whatever MMO they're in, because they change every season or so. Well, whether it's I'll start with Ironcrad since that's the one everyone knows, or not everyone who knows the show knows. It's like I'm not much of an MMO player, but like even as someone who's only played like 2 or 3 MMOs in his life, even I think that the game as itself is a stupid, shitty game. Now a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, but it's supposed to be some stupid death game or whatnot." Yeah, but like the people going into it didn't know that. The people going into it were sold as the game as like this, and like as the game let me put it this way: if an MMO similar to Sword Art Online came out in the real world, it'd be dead within like 10 to 20 days.
I'd question how nobody figured out that there were actually death machines attached to all the helmets, but okay.
Yeah, that's another. That's
How the hell did that get past the QA department?
Yeah, I'm wondering how that just always. That's another major problem. That's a big.
Yeah, that's a bit of a plot hole there. Was everyone at the company in on whatever his name was, Scheme? I forgot his name. But that's fine because he forgot the reason why he did any of it. He forgot the reason.
Yeah, that's so fucking retarded. Okay.
Yeah, he was so determined to do things that he forgot why he did it to begin with.
I can understand what they were trying to go for. I think, like him saying, like, "Oh, he did so much bad stuff," but like he got so obsessed with him that he forgot it. But like, since I know Jack all about him or his character, it just comes across as, "Oh, I forgot. LOL. Isn't that funny? I killed thousands of people and I forgot why I even did it in the first place. Isn't that funny?"
Nope. Damn it. I'm tempted to say it, but I won't. I'll hold off.
Tell me.
It's a real subversion of expectations, isn't it?
Fuck you.
Hey, you asked. You received.
Fair enough. Anyway, so yeah, that's. And like you were saying, like any one of these, like if the only problem were just it's bad as an MMO or it's like that thing with the nerve gear, if those are the only problems in the show, I would probably forgive it and stuff because it has a lot of other things. But it really does, in my opinion, fail on like almost every level. Like
the main character is pretty much a Mary Sue.
The main character is a Gary Stew, or the opposite, which is like the Mary Sue, but like it's the term for a guy where I guess he's supposedly a nerdy guy. However, every time we see him past like the first few sentences of the first episode, he's a super god who can do anything and do nothing wrong. And all the girls, even his own cousin or sister, wants his penis. Is a saying that Japan does. I'm not going to comment on that. That's a whole nother can of worms. And like, it's just like it's just like really freaking like the more and more like I don't know. To be fair, like the most I've seen was the first arc, and I only saw bits and pieces beyond that. But like everything, but I've looked in great detail on what happened after that, and even like what happened after sounds really retarded and stupid to me. It's like, I don't know. It's like it feels like like I love the idea and stuff, and if you want to see a show, an anime even that does the idea of trapped in an MMO, well, then go see a show called Log Horizon, which actually I don't know if have you heard of it?
I've heard of that.
Okay, yeah. It's a good show because it actually like takes advantage like of the fact of like the question of what would people do if they were stuck in an MMO, and like people form factions, they like do things, and like they incorporate MMO mechanics and stuff, and it's like really interesting stuff. It feels like someone wrote it with a purpose beyond just power fantasy and stuff, and that's kind of the most annoying thing about Star Online is that it just feels like some sort of annoying power fantasy thing.
Well, it pretty much is.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure that probably destroyed.
I mean, the second season had potential, but it couldn't get to it.
You know, I heard. One thing I'm half kind of interested in checking out. Not saying I am going to check it out, but I'm somewhat interested in checking it out. Is Sword Art Online progressive novels, which are apparently like the author realized that his earlier work was really shit and moved too fast through the arc, so he went back to rewrite them, and so it would be slower paced and to do stuff. So maybe that's better. I don't know. I haven't read them. So like I kind of wanted to see if it's any better, but like I didn't then want like.
Well, the second season they at least had a pretty good villain, though they just didn't utilize him that well. I mean, for comparison, you've seen The Legend of Korra. Think another version of Amon, and that was the villain for the second season. A great villain in concept, but they just really underutilized him, just like they did Amon. Now that I think about it, Amon.
That reminds me, I still haven't seen Legend of Korra. I'll have to check it out to see if it's as bad.
I mean, it's like the villain of the first season. He was such a good villain. They could have done so much with him, and then they just destroy his character to make Korra look good.
I've heard very mixed things about it, so like it'll be interesting to see it. What else? But like anyway, also like one thing I kind of realized, a friend pointed out to me, is that like the villain of the second season is kind of a ripoff of Death Note in a way. I mean, think about it. It stars a guy who kills people in very mysterious ways and stuff, or what? Oh, that's a little broad. The way he put it to me was like oh, I remember why. It's because he's called
He
Death
shoots
Gun.
people in the virtual world, and that kills them in the real world.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Another huge problem I have with Sword Art Online that's I'm pretty certain is never freaking addressed. Why the fuck do people continue to play VR despite the Sword Art Online incident? I mean, I'd think after the fact that people, I don't know, that like at least a couple thousand people died during that thing, they would, I don't know, have the government recall them, or I don't know, they at least become black market and greatly restricted or something. But no, as soon as they get out, it's just, whatever, this happened, who cares?
Or you'd expect those freaking helmets to go through like the strictest QA testing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, how the
And
hell
you
did
think
some
they'd go
guy
for the
sneak mind control past everyone after the whole Sword Art Online thing?
I mean, I'd think they'd go through extensive Q&A testing in the first place, but apparently they didn't. And like, also like, it's even more funnier to me because involving the Nerve Gear or bad stuff in the virtual world continues to happen after the first arc in SAO. So it completely proving my point that the government should probably look into this stuff, but they don't for some reason.
Nah, they do kind of, but the government's mostly useless.
Yeah.
I mean, the most the government does is get Kirito to do something.
Yeah.
Which I guess is what governments really do, just get somebody else to do something. But come on, do a bit more than that.
Out of curiosity, why did you watch the second season after the first season?
Why not at that point? Because apparently the villain was a lot better.
Yeah.
And he was, but he was terribly underutilized. They had a great story that they could have made with this guy, and they just threw it away to make Kirito look good.
Yeah, the whole thing with Sword Art Online is it could be great. It could be a great story, have all these stuff, but it's like what they do with it is kind of like nothing you can get out of any other generic wish fulfillment light novel or anime or whatnot. Like if I wanted to feel like a god or something or whatnot, I wouldn't watch something. I'd play Half-Life for an hour or two. Anyway,
I mean, the way I would probably try to fix the second season of Sword Art Online, if I had the ability to do so, is that the entire second season should have taken place in some MMO that's like DayZ. Everyone's looking out for themselves, everyone's shooting everyone. It should have followed the similar story of Apocalypse Now.
Yeah. YouTuber.
Yeah, I guess,
One YouTuber came under a lot of fire recently for some controversial stuff, but he made this. There's this YouTuber named Digibro. He's recently come under some controversy, which is a whole nother can of worms, which I won't get into right now. But like he made a similar point in one of his videos that it should have been that, and I think I totally agree with him. It should have been something where it's like it's dark, you really get to know this and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Deathgun could have just been some random person who got too into MMO gaming and into his online identity.
I do think the idea of people like getting into their online identities and whatnot is sort of a fascinating one, especially when you think about YouTube and like how people put on a lot of personas and whatnot. Could have been like a really interesting thing to explore.
Yeah.
It would have been incredibly interesting, but instead we just got another girl to suck Kirito's dick, who is admittedly cute and whatnot and somewhat decent, but I mean I can look at porn if I want to see cute girls.
And we got the secret to Deathgun's power, and it was really disappointing.
Oh yeah, another thing with Deathgun is what I have to wonder is even if I was into that arc, which I wasn't, one thing I realized is that they kind of reveal the plot twist of who Deathgun is in the opening of the show.
What do they?
Yeah, kind of like the character who's Deathgun is like there's a scene in the opening where there's a character who's like about to take Xenon, who's the girl in that arc's hand, and then it's the guy who is Deathgun, and then some fire suddenly appears out of nowhere, revealing Deathgun. All I can think is who could have let that get past. Like why would they do that? You're literally Like, that's not like some deep symbolism. That's something that, like, all you have to do is look at and think about for 2 seconds and you figured it out.
Yeah, but then again, Sword Art Online isn't meant to be viewed while thinking.
Yeah. Anyway, I hope I didn't hurt any of your feelings. To be fair, Sword Art Online has become.
Look, if people are worried about getting their feelings hurt, I have to ask, why the hell are you watching this podcast? Seriously, dude.
Fair enough. Anyway, so anyway, the same. Also, speaking of video game adaptations, A1 Pictures also did the Ace Attorney anime, which was kind of mediocre and stuff. I mean, there had some enjoyable bits in it. So I love Ace Attorney series and stuff, so I got some enjoyment out of it. And there were definitely some good moments in it, but overall, it was just kind of mediocre, especially in the animation department. Like, I read somewhere that apparently they only started animating the show 2 months before it started airing for some reason.
No.
Right. Which, considering if that is true, they did a good job considering, but. And if you're a fan of Ace Attorney, I want to ask myself, could I recommend the Ace Attorney anime? I say that just because I know you're an Ace Attorney fan. Do you want to know my thoughts on it, or do you want me to shut up now?
You can put your thoughts on it.
I said most of them now.
Well, we have to keep talking. That's a rule.
I think if you're really a big fan of the Ace Attorney games and stuff, and really want to see it in in anime form and stuff, or you just want to see it for the heck of it, I would say give it a shot. But don't expect it's a masterpiece. There's definitely there's a bunch of fun, cool moments in there, and there's one episode that's a completely original story that's actually pretty good. But I wouldn't. It's not amazing and stuff. Just kind of okay. Anyway, yeah, that's my feelings. If you don't like it, then you can go fuck yourself.
Yep, and let's see, what else do we have?
I remember one topic jokingly said that we're going to mention our favorite fight in an anime. You want to do that?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Okay, what is your favorite fight in an anime?
It'd be Kiritsugu Emiya versus Kotomine.
What is that from?
Fate Zero.
Okay. Now for mine, I'm thinking, should I go for a joke answer, or should I go for a serious answer?
I'm gonna go for the serious answer.
Okay. I guess, you know what? This is probably cheating, but I don't care because I kind of liked it anyway. I think I kind of like the mind game battle between Light and L in Death Note.
Okay, I can see that one. I mean, it's technically a battle. Not really the kind I was having in mind, but it is a battle.
Yeah, it's probably cheating, but oh well. Anyway, I guess if I had to choose, my joke one would have been Light and Nier.
You call that a battle?
It's kind of a battle.
Yeah, I mean, they just... Light had to be nerfed big time in order for Nier to be threatening. And not mention that, he was boring.
Kind of was. I liked the voice actor.
He was still boring.
Fair enough. I had I came across someone on the internet make the argument once that he was boring because he's supposed to be a criticism of L and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, dude, you can believe that if you want, but I think they just were running out of ideas.
I would say they should have just ended it with Kira winning after L died.
One funny thing about that, another manga made by the same author and writer as Death Note called Barakamon. It's pretty much a manga about the making of manga, about two guys how
Yeah.
to making manga and whatnot. And I've only just got it and stuff. Pretty interesting so far. But like, apparently, at one point really later on in the series, one of their mangas gets really popular, and and the series is about a battle between two characters,
Mhm.
and they end up apparently one of them killing off one of the other characters, and apparently the anime version gets really popular, and they're encouraged by the anime writers to continue it, and they're like, should we do this? But they ultimately decide to no, we're going to stand our ground and stay to our creative decisions. I'm kind of wondering, is that their way of saying we regret doing that to Death Note?
Probably. Nier was damn boring. I mean, come on, Light should have won. Come on, he conquered L. He deserved to win.
I don't know why.
Why'd you let some boring dumb fuck who plays with toys all day win? That was just insulting.
I don't know why. I don't know. I think I just, on some level, I kind of like Nier. I mean, he's not a very good character, and he's kind of boring. But I don't know why. I just kind of like. I think it's for just superficial shit. Like, I like the idea. Like, I just like weird people doing weird shit, and I like that he's some super serious guy, yet he plays with toys and whatnot. I don't know why, but I just kind of do.
Okay, what can you tell me about his personality? Nothing, because he has none.
He's a lot like L, except he's a lot more
Bland.
He's a lot more distrustful. He's he has white hair. Wait, that's not his personality. A minute. I can do this. He's a lot more distrusting. He's a lot more rough, rigged. He's a lot less curious and more just like getting to the point, and that's all I can think.
Basically, he's L, but more bland and more boring.
I'm a controversial opinion. Like, there were parts of like the second half of Death Note that I thought were kind of cool. Like, I love the guy that went delete, delete, delete over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I was saying that was kind of shit. But it's like, I have to admit, though, never mind, I mentioned that on another podcast. I gotta be careful. I repeat myself a lot on these podcasts. Like, I bring up similar points from one to another, so...
Oh, well, good.
Oh, anyway. Could have been worse, though. Could have been The Last Jedi. I like The Last Jedi. Sort of.
Well, at least Death Note Episode 2 had direction. That's about the kindest thing I can say about it. It had direction. It knew it was going somewhere.
Well, technically it had a direction in terms of it had a director. Thus, it was given direction.
Leia Poppins. Explain that.
I didn't say it was good direction, dumbass. I said it was direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably never gonna live down. Like, I think The Last Jedi to me is a film where I'm like, this is the last time I'm saying this. I said this in a different podcast. Never mind. I'm not talking about it here at all. I'm trying to avoid repeating points.
Will you defend it at this point because you just have to defend it? You can't go back now.
Partially, yes, but also like what? You say take it back? No, I don't want to say
back.
Like they said, a scene in The Last Jedi is let the past die. People need to let the past take its advice and let the past die. Here's the thing, I like it for some of the scenes and what it attempts to do that it doesn't necessarily do so well. And you might say that's a very vapid and stupid reason to like a movie, and I'd say you are completely right, and that's why it's a guilty pleasure. I don't think anyone could hate me for that, can they?
We're not talking about what I think we're talking about, are we?
Not anymore.
Shit. Oops. You guess you want to know us talking about The Last Jedi.
That seems to inevitably come up in everything we do.
Sorry, we forgot to send you the message about doing the podcast, but this way we can get your thoughts on a few other topics.
I kind of just bursted out of nowhere into here.
Oh, it's okay. I jokingly said that...
Inquisition!
I jokingly said that didn't weren't here because I made you my slave and whatnot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I guess you escaped and I wasn't looking. Good job.
Yeah.
Since
It's
you're
just
here,
him being edgy. You know, he tries.
ain't no slavery here, boy.
Anyway, since you're here, I am curious. Dolphin, do you want to ask him what he thinks about what's it called? What's the currency called again?
It was the cryptocurrency.
Right.
Like
What are your
you
thoughts?
mean like Bitcoin or?
Yes.
It has absolutely no material value whatsoever, so I think it's quite useless.
Okay, how about you and Dolphin if you debate for a bit?
Sees reason for it, I guess. Why not?
Wasn't sure that was the podcast, but okay.
Well, I didn't expect.
A little late. I'm a little bit out of the loop anyway, so I don't know what's going on.
We've
Yeah,
just been.
yeah, okay. Have time to learn more about it then. We can do that another time.
Right.
Yeah, we
I was
can.
just-
Oh,
I
look,
was
we have
just
material for the next podcast. We rarely have material that far ahead of time in advance.
Sorry. We'll end it soon and stuff. But I'll just tell you what we've been talking about in the podcast, so you can give some 2 cents in it. One thing I was ranting about is that I brought up the fact that apparently Persona 5 is getting an anime adaptation in like a week. It's coming the first episode.
That would make sense.
And I was
Or
saying
Persona
about
4
how-
had its own animated short series.
Yeah. And I said, and I've actually said in this podcast that I'm actually, despite me being a huge fan of the game, I'm not too excited about it. One reason because it's a video game adaptations and they never go well. And another reason because there's so much in the game and it's only 24 episodes long and stuff apparently from what I've seen. And there's just not going to be enough to cover all the bases and whatnot.
Seen the Persona 4 Golden anime?
What?
Have you seen the Persona 4?
No, I have not. I saw the original. I saw a bit of the original Persona 4 anime.
The only complaint I really have about it is the fact that cover the entire game, like you said, but at the same time, the choice of voice actors they did have for it was just spot on.
Yeah.
The only jarring part was the voice actor they chose for the main character, because he, as far as you know, he doesn't have a voice in the games.
Yeah.
The animation, it actually worked out.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like I said, from what I saw I didn't see the Golden anime. There's, for those who don't own, there was 2 versions of the Persona 4 anime. One that was just an adaptation of the original Persona 4, and then Persona 4 Golden came out. They did a 13-episode version with just all the new shit that Golden offered. But yeah, I did see the first one and stuff, and from what I remember, they did a decent job with the protagonist, which I'm most interested in. See what they do with the protagonist and stuff. But my problem is and stuff is gonna be that no matter what, is that I'm okay with cutting some things. They're some.
I think the main gripe you have about it is the fact that they're trying to condense 150 hours of gameplay into a series that may last only 12 to 24 episodes, each only about 22 minutes long.
Yeah, that's my problem.
I thought your main gripe was it was made by A1 Pictures.
Well, that's another main gripe. That's
Okay, so that's
gripe.
just icing on the cake then.
Yes. My main gripe is what I just mentioned, what Inquisitor just mentioned. But my other thing is it's being made by A1 Pictures, which is an anime studio that, from my experience at least, I haven't watched everything they have, but I've watched a good number of things they have, where their shows tend to be one of 3 things. One, every once in a while they make something genuinely good or interesting, or whatnot. 2, they make something that starts out good, but by the midway to near the end, it's kind of just becomes retarded and stupid. Or they just make something that's kind of just following the trends and just is kind of bland and generic.
Well,
They're the guys who made Sword Art Online.
oh, okay. The one that the new millennials are comparing to Berserk and claiming that Sword Art is actually more intense.
I haven't heard anyone do that. The only comparison I've heard to Berserk is that the Black Swordsman. I actually forgot about that for a bit. Kirito was called the Black Swordsman for a bit in the anime.
or Attack on Titan as being more visceral than Berserk. Really?
Yeah, that is outright false. I'm actually currently reading Berserk. I'm up to like volume 16, 17, and it's pretty great. But like, I have to say, it is the most visceral, bloody, and inappropriate thing I've ever seen. Attack on Titan and Sword Art Online has nothing on it. And it also
The only reason I knew about Sword Art Online is because my sister was watching it, and she doesn't like the game so much. She prefers the show.
I see. I don't begrudge people for liking it. I just don't like it. Like my whole thing is, and stuff is, I don't begrudge people for liking or hating things and stuff. Like if they like something, I'm fine. But like, I'm still gonna be honest about it.
Yeah, fair enough. This went way left field of any cryptocurrency debate.
Yeah, well, I think we can save that for another time.
Yeah.
I mean, that originally wasn't what the podcast was going to be about.
Should we cut out?
Oh, you're right. It should be saved for another podcast because that is a pretty interesting topic to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of wondering if we should cut out the stuff that where just me and Dolphin were talking, say for the edgy bits, and just include.
I mean, if you guys were recording up till this point, just have me pop in the middle somewhere. That's okay.
I don't do that.
Okay. Anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. What was one thing I brought up? Oh yeah, we missed my great speech I had at the very beginning of this podcast, where I claimed that Bayonetta is actually feminist propaganda and that Hideki Kamiya hates men. Like it was all I came with this whole big conspiracy theory that
you're calling a game about a woman whose clothing is her hair.
Mm-hmm.
And uses said hair to attacks by exposing a lot of her skin. You're calling that a feminist game?
Well, look, that stuff is just there to distract the dumb males from the obvious propaganda that's in there.
But wouldn't a feminist argue that Bayonetta is the most misogynist game out there?
Yeah,
I'd argue differently. Why can a woman not show her skin?
Well, anyway, think about this. Like, every man in Bayonetta, almost every man in Bayonetta that you come across is either incompetent or an asshole. What does that have to say about Hideki Kamiya's opinions on men? I think it's very telling, personally.
He's trolling, just so you know.
I could think of other games that would be more feminist agenda per se than Bayonetta.
For the record, I don't seriously
like
think
Nier Automata, pick that one.
Sort of anti-human though, isn't it?
Maybe.
Yeah, but maybe feminists are as well, so I don't know.
David Cage news to become human looks like it's going to be anti-human, which is fine with me because I'm anti-human as well.
He's an evil platypus, that's why. I mean, I made an entire video on it.
By amphibious platypuses.
I'm just disappointed you didn't bring up my greatest crime, and that is I actually worked on The Last Jedi with Rian Johnson.
I was laying eggs in the underbrush of beaver dams, and trying to subjugate the beaver species while you yourself try and go on land and
what I did was
inform the world and try and turn the geese and the ducks to your side.
Oh yeah, but I did that just so they could all form under the same communist manifesto.
Yeah, and while he was at it, he was also turning the frogs gay to make them extinct because frogs are capitalist.
Yeah. Capitalism, like a lot of people say, communism is bad and stupid, but I just think they haven't tried it my way, which is everyone gets nothing and I get everything. That way, everyone but me.
Which is communism, essentially, in a nutshell, really.
Well, like here's the difference, though, is that once I get everything, I'll kill everyone, and then I'll be the last one alive.
That still sounds like communism.
You just broke the number one rule of dictators. Never announce your plans to kill people before you come to power.
Hitler did it, and look what happened to him.
I must have been reading the wrong guy's speeches.
Eh,
No, not
But
even
he-
Hitler announced that he was going to kill everyone.
fair enough, but it wasn't exactly nice to the people he was subjugating.
It
brought the
depended
mark-
on who
he
you
brought the
were,
mark-
really.
He made the mark valuable again. That's why people were clamoring for his rule.
Exactly, which is why I'm gonna do a reign similar to Hitler. He's an inspiration to me, and I'm going
Or
to,
worth something again?
well, like I'm going to be purging the geese race as well as the frogs from my pond, so that the platypus master race.
The geese might be your best form of air superiority.
Yeah, but like they could also be our worst enemies.
Hmm. For anyone new to this podcast, yeah, we go to territory like this.
To be fair, I'm kind of an idiot and stuff, and I like to just say shit that pops in my head sometimes I just say shit whether it makes sense to me or not. So that's where some of the
Yeah,
shit-
we noticed.
I think
Rottweilers, Dobermans, pit bulls, you name it.
Well, in a way, the point is it's all going to be a trap. I'm going to convince them, stick them on their side, then I'm going to give the terrible rule. Then I'll just kill everyone and live on my own, with all the riches and whatnot.
Like that one show called The Last Man on Earth.
Something like that, except I'll actually be happy about it. And I'll actually, well, actually, I don't know what happened in Last Man on Earth. What happened was the guy happy in Last Man on Earth?
I don't think so.
Well, I'll be happy unlike him. Or not, no,
Like, interaction in community is pretty important to us humans. If I was the last human being on Earth, I'd probably be pretty depressed.
fair enough.
Especially knowing that there was going to be nothing left after I was gone.
Yeah. You know what? That's a good point. What I think I'll do instead is I'll raise the geese, platypuses, frogs, and everyone else, and raise them against humans and stuff, and take over the world. And then I'll blow up the Statue of Liberty, so someone in the future, so we can and then we can get humans to perform.
Of Liberty is such a huge symbol for humanity.
Well, like I want to blow up the Statue of Liberty because then I can get humans as my human sex slaves to then perform Planet of the Apes live and have them do the scene where it's like you blew them up. Maybe.
Heard it here, people. A platypus wants to sexually enslave humans.
Hmm.
No, I'm not sexually enslaving all humans, just the white ones and the men.
Sexually deranged platypus. Wow. This list
Yeah.
keeps growing.
And this is supposed to be a gaming podcast.
Hey, don't kick me. What's wrong with having my fetishes? I'm sure you all have the skeletons in the closet.
Well, yeah, but I don't go around talking about them, usually on gaming podcasts. I would go to a porn podcast if I was going to talk about my fetishes.
Well, that's just because you're ashamed of yourself.
Hey, I am not. I'm quite proud of some of the things I do.
It's
I just
called
don't talk
having
about-
class.
Yeah.
Should we talk about something gaming related now instead of like?
I'm playing Far Cry 5 right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
How good is that? I'm going to need to look at that one.
I just started, and it's putting me through the motions in this. I'm right now, but it's just the opening scene right now. But once that's done, I'm diving straight into the map editor
Why are you going into the map editor?
because I love being creative. Because if there's one thing Far Cry has done for me, it's allowed me to.
Get creative, I guess. Oh, is he cut off?
I think,
I'm here.
Okay, sorry, you were cut off for us for a minute.
Is my mic going in and out? Because
Right now, you should be good. I'll let you know if you cut off again. We hear you right now.
sometimes I wonder if the USB cable is just too long and it's getting jostled around, causing it to cut out.
I once tried to be creative once, and I watched "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," and then I started becoming a communist, and I didn't want to be creative again.
Then he met me and became a platypus.
Yeah.
Yes, to anyone terrified I'm responsible for making him a platypus, I do apologize.
Oh, that crowbar of yours has some witch powers or something?
I suggested to him doing an old man, but he didn't have an old man sign laying around, so I decided, okay, I'll just be a platypus. He said he thought I sounded like a platypus, so when he heard me, he just thought platypus or something. I think those are your words.
Or maybe he thought you sounded like Daffy Duck and he decided to...
Wouldn't surprise me.
I know, so when I heard your voice, wow, that sounds a lot weirder than I thought. Well, okay, what do I think of that's weird? A duck-billed platypus, that's kind of weird. Let's go with that.
You did think my voice was weird. I knew it.
Well, come on, you even said so as well. I can get that out of my head.
Fair enough. As long as I don't sound like a retarded monkey, I'm fine.
Yeah, you'll never sound like that. I mean, I say the platypus fits you.
Yeah, I think it does. Anyway, I would love to do creative stuff in Far Cry 5, like the map editor or whatnot. But I always end up being so indecisive that I end up getting nothing done. Is he still there? I'm guessing he's fixing his microphone.
Oh, I'm still here. I'm just being quiet.
Either you get the people who are too indecisive, you get the people who are incredibly creative, and then you get the people who just make maps that are shaped like dicks.
Yeah.
There's 3 types of them.
I'm probably one of those guys that meticulously spends hours and hours trying to make the perfect map.
Yeah, I'm like one of those guys. And then I give up halfway through because I'm like, fuck this, I'm not getting my perfect map.
Or you get really self-conscious and you get scared of sharing it with people.
Yeah. Or I start worrying, am I getting too creative? Or is this one problem I have with
There's no such thing as too much creativity.
Just watch Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. I'll prove you wrong.
Nah, I don't think Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared was that bad.
I'm joking around. But on all seriousness though, my problem in things like map editors or character creators is I set out with a great goals of, okay, I'm gonna make this, this, and this. And I just end up making some ugly asshole or a really big mess. Then I eventually just be like, okay, I'll just go for the default thing. At least it doesn't look as ugly as what I made.
So your favorite idea is not being creative then, Papa G?
I'm not saying I don't like being creative. Just not being creative in character customizations or whatnot.
Hey, come on, you can be creative in any way as long as you don't get green. That's not a creative color.
That is true. So,
you can be creative as long as you're not plagiaristic.
Yeah.
Don't completely rip off of another map and then call it your own.
Yeah, take inspiration from it.
Yeah. So.
Or you can rip something off but just do it in a new way. I mean, Titanic, the movie, did that.
Yeah.
That's just Romeo and Juliet in a boat.
And James Cameron made over $1 billion on that.
Yeah, in fact, James Cameron even admitted it's just Romeo and Juliet in a boat.
Well, to be fair, I think that's how he originally pitched it to the
I think Romeo and Juliet ever boned each other.
What do you mean by own each other? I'm sorry, you cut out there. Can you repeat that?
I don't think Romeo and Juliet ever boned each other.
Oh. Or did they? It's been a while since I've read Romeo and Juliet.
But I think they were 13 at the time. Actually, that was kind of marriage age, so they might have. Well, that was marriage age at the time, remember? So they might have.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, there were moral standards back then. You didn't just go off into the night and stuff.
Well, of course they did. People did it all the time.
Well, of course they did. I was alive.
I mean, life was short back then. Literally, life was short.
I'm on top of being a platypus, I'm also a vampire. And I was alive back then, and I can say...
When did that happen?
Oh no, he's responsible for the Twilight series as well, just so you know.
Yeah,
he wanted to brainwash young girls.
As well as helping Ryan Johnson direct The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but dude, Twilight, that's worse.
Fair enough. Well, I pissed off a bunch of fans, so that could... Anyway, point is, as of right now, as me deciding, I was a vampire back then. And, I was there, so I can say firsthand that there was a lot of 13-year-olds boning other 13-year-olds.
This is okay. We're getting into some dark territory here.
Okay, I think I'm getting
we're getting a bit too edgy.
I'm sorry. God forgive me. I hope
It's no longer G-rated.
Let me stop being G-rated a long
Oh
time
no,
ago.
was our podcast ever G-rated? Oh no.
I'm seriously though. I am sorry. That was going too far.
Yeah.
Anyway, but seriously though, like with Romeo and Juliet, like I know for a fact, James Cameron definitely pitched it to the studio as like Romeo and Juliet on a boat and whatnot, and like that was his intention going in. So I haven't seen Titanic yet, but I know like my sister and mother like really love it, so that's something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was that? You keep cutting off.
Didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Have anything gaming to say, you guys?
Oh, I said my piece about Far Cry. What do you guys think of it?
I haven't really tried Far Cry 5 yet. If it's more like Far Cry 3, I think I'll be great with it.
The map editor is supposed to contain the assets for not just the previous Far Cry games, but even Assassin's Creed Black Flag, Watch Dogs, a whole bunch of other Ubisoft titles. So you can literally create.
So wait, are you saying I can create like like a sailing game inside the map editor?
Probably, I wouldn't doubt it, actually. Okay, apparently I'm supposed to run.
Or better yet, you could create the entire weed level from Far Cry 3. I like that level.
Oh, the LSD level?
No, the whole level where you're burning the weed and you can actually feel the haze affecting you as you're near it.
Are you sure you're not talking about San Andreas?
No, it's Far Cry 3. You know, the level where you have to burn all the weed, that one.
The detection meter fills up as enemy spots you. It's full, and if it's full and flashed, you've been detected. When close enough and undetected to an enemy, press R3 to perform a takedown quietly.
Okay. So maybe we should end the podcast here and stuff and continue talking off screen. Sound good? I think we exhausted all the podcasts people at home will find interesting.
Well, I don't think anyone takes this podcast too seriously at the moment anyway. If they do take it seriously, they've left a long time ago, and they're probably trying to get us flagged off YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we can end the podcast now, if you want.
I'll be sure to talk to you guys next week, where hopefully we'll be more organized, and I promise I'll try to be less edgy.
Okay.
Okay. Till next week, then. I'm DolphinVi.
I'm the Inquisition, the PlayStation Inquisition.
And I am Papa G saying good night. Or after good morning, or whatever you are.